Hi everybody, this is Scott Lutz, and guess what? Tomorrow morning I will be back. I have finished this week's overtime, so now I can finally come and do my work, my ministry work in the morning. So, but there might be some changes coming up now that I got the podcast, because I want to do podcasts more often. I am thinking about doing that in the morning instead of the videos, and doing the videos in the afternoon when I get home from work. And my wife just reminded me to don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and to ring the bell for more notifications of what we are doing in Lutz Family Ministries, because we would love to have you. Anyway, so let's go ahead and read out of the Bible. Today we are going to be reading out Genesis 11, 1 through, it's a short one tonight, 1 through 9. You know what? I get progressives, and it hasn't really been that progressed yet, okay? So let's go ahead and read out of the Bible, and we'll talk about a little bit about this. Now the whole world had one language and a common speech. As men moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. They said to each other, "Come, let's make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used bricks instead of stone and tar for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves and not be scattered over the face of the whole earth." But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower that the men were building. The Lord said, "If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and confuse their language so that they will not understand each other." So the Lord scattered them from there over all the earth, and they stopped building the city. That is why was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the whole earth. From there, the Lord scattered them over the face of the whole earth. So, let's go ahead and talk about this. I love the story of Babel. It explains so much. When originally human beings weren't just all white, they weren't all black, they weren't one color, okay? They were several colors, but they all spoke one language. So God decides, well, he doesn't want us to globalize. So here's what happens. During the Tower of Babel, the earth was still globalized. There were no, people had not gone throughout the earth like the Lord commanded. But they decided to globalize under one king, under one ruler. So God says, well, they're not doing what I told them to do. They didn't go out and populate the planet. They're just right here in this one area. So he decides, well, I don't want them to have pride. I don't want them to have one king. I don't want them to achieve the impossible together. So I am going to confuse the language, and that is why in the world today we have different languages. Because God separated us. Well, let's do this a little bit more carefully, shall we? God, he decided to separate the languages so that we can no longer conspire against them together, so we can no longer be prideful together. And that's why we speak different languages now. Doesn't mean that we're not all human. We are. We're all human. No matter what skin color we have, we are still God's children. We are still all made in the image of God. But because of the Tower of Babel, we speak a different language from each other. And there's one theory that I do have. I'm thinking that at one time we all spoke this spoke all languages on earth, and then when God confused the language, we are now deaf for foreign languages. We don't understand foreign languages because God confused it. Anyway, thank you for listening. God bless you. I will see you next time.